Texans at the Steelers on Monday night, Game 6. The rumor on the street is that Mike Tomlin doesn't lose on Monday night. The Steelers just sneak into the playoffs with a crazy win in Week 18 over the Ravens. I don't think any team will necessarily, any of those two teams will necessarily or would have necessarily done much damage in the playoffs. But who knows? Like I said, you play Houston, offense is all right, I guess. Like they're average. The defense is really good. But if you can overcome that, again, it's Denver. And Denver is the same kind of situation. The Texans, 12-5, 13th in points for, second in points against. Their strength, it's the whole damn defense. Everybody from top to bottom, Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson Jr., putting pressure off the edge, your lockdown corners. You can believe in literally every player on the field for this Houston Texans defense. It honestly comes down to the offensive production. C.J. Stroud is a great playoff performer. The majority of times we've seen him on a playoff stage, he's had really great games. He's won 2 playoff games in 2 years. Hasn't been elite since his rookie year, I'll say, but when the playoff comes around, he's usually there to deliver. And the defense, again, top 6 against the pass and pass yards, top 4 against the run and rush yards. Danielle Hunter, 15 sacks. Will Anderson, 12 sacks. They're just lethal. Like, they're a good team, but offensively, it's kind of scarce. Other than Nico Collins, who do they have? Like Woody Marks, Nick Chubb, Jaden Higgins, Dalton Schultz. These guys aren't needle movers for me. They're going to need someone to step up, and the number one guy who's going to have to do that is Nico Collins. Nico Collins is my X factor for this team. He needs to have big games in the playoffs to give C.J. Stroud that momentum, because I don't trust anybody else on the offense here. I like the Texans in this game because Mike Tomlin's defense, we'll get to it, but is well known to fall apart in the playoffs. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not sold. This is more of a 50-50 than people think.
Yeah, well, I don't know what team to start. I'll start with Houston. I think a couple times I've been on the show, I've just been raving about this Texans defense. They're special. They're number 1 in total yards. They're also just 0.2 shy off being number 1 in total points. You just sit back and watch this defense. They fly off the screen. They got guys just zooming. They get to the quarterback, but they also are really good not allowing you to score a ton of points. In the secondary, and like you said, offensively, there's the question mark. It's C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins, and who exactly? It's not like this big, explosive offense. And Stroud has played a role in that. But yeah, I got Nico Collins as my X factor too. If he can go downfield and have one of those Nico Collins, 7 catches, 110 yards, a touchdown games where he's just like going deep down the field. I remember the Indianapolis game, the first year they made the playoffs, the game that got him in. I think the first play of the game, Nico Collins scores a touchdown, and it was a deep ball, and that's like the kind of performance they're going to need to have because offensively it's pretty shaky, but I don't think they need to have too spectacular of an offensive game when you're playing the Steelers. Don't think the Steelers are that great of an offense. My X factor for them is DK Metcalf. He comes back from the suspension. Maybe he's all mad, pissed off, because they really need him in that one. Because this Steelers offense, it doesn't move me at all. And then you're going to put a 41-year-old quarterback with just one wide receiver against that defense. They'll be at home, but against that defense, to me, that just sounds like a recipe to lose that game. 23 to 10. But if Aaron Rodgers was to pull this off, that's a cherry on top to a Canton legacy. Because you have one wide receiver, you're 41 years old, you're going up against that defense. And I don't know, what's the line in this game? I lost it. I think they are minus, let me pull it up here, -3. Houston's the favorite. So +3 Pittsburgh at home. But I'm taking Houston in this one because also, like you said, too, Tomlin's defense in the postseason, they're not playing a great offensive Houston, but I saw him give up 30 points to Baker Mayfield, Blake Bortles. Haven't won a playoff game since the Obama administration, and it's been primarily because they're giving up 30 points a game defensively in the playoffs. So if this is a game where C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins are going to have a big one, it's going to be this one. And if this is a game where Fire Mike Tomlin starts getting, chanted, it's going to be this one as well.
after watching them on Sunday night against the Ravens, particularly Jalen Ramsey, who was a Pro Bowler this year, they were just torched. The secondary was torched. And Rodgers, I'll say this because my buddy Jordan, he's been harping on me because I was against Rodgers all year. And he said, you got to shout him out for me once because he did have a phenomenal game. And I'll give him that. Rodgers is very impressive. The great thing about Rodgers is he releases the ball super quickly. The quickest release time in the league. And my X factor, Dylan Cook, the tackle they got, has been phenomenal, shutting down some of the better edges in the game. So that will play to their advantage. Getting DK Metcalf back, huge. But there's that quote, Steve. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 5 times. Mike Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game since 2016. His defenses in those 5 games have averaged a total of 38.8 points against per game. The Steelers haven't scored more than 38 points this season. It's just hard for me to believe, even against a mediocre Texans offense, that this Steelers team can pull it off. But I'll give them the fact that they're at home. It's the cold. Aaron Rodgers just had a legacy performance, and this isn't necessarily a legacy-defining year for Raj. He's walking straight into Canton. He's a future Hall of Famer, one of the best, if not the best, pure passers of the football we've ever seen. It's not like Stafford showing up to LA needing to win some playoff games, a Super Bowl, to get it under his belt, get a resume builder. Rodgers has had his career. This run in itself to make the playoffs, the game he had, was phenomenal. I just don't love the team. I don't love Tomlin's defense, which consistently falls apart in the playoffs. I don't like the lack of talent offensively. I will say Kenneth Gainwell, Jalen Warren, they've been not too bad. DK Metcalf coming back. They have some pieces, but Rodgers was throwing to who last game? Adam Thielen, Scotty Miller, Pat Freiermuth. Like, I didn't even know these guys were still playing. And that was the Ravens secondary without Kyle Hamilton for the back half of the game. Now you go to Houston. Now Houston comes to you, but you're playing a great secondary. Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson Jr., if they get to Rodgers, I mean, we saw what they did against Cleveland, right? Yeah. Like we saw the Steelers damn near lose the division.
I was going to bring that up, actually. Listen, the Steelers offense, it's not the worst thing in the world, but they do have their best games against not so great defense. You think about 26 against Baltimore, 29 against the Lions, 28 against the Dolphins, 28 against the Bears, 34 against the Bengals. So if you look at their points per game, it's actually better than the Eagles. But then you realize, they're having their best games against bad defenses. But then you look, 6 points in Cleveland, 7 points against the Bills, 10 points against the Chargers. You start playing better defenses. This Steelers offense doesn't look nearly as good. And you consider that they're going to play one of the better defenses of this decade in Houston. It just doesn't sound like a recipe for Mike Tomlin getting his first playoff win since 2016.
Yeah, and I'm not saying they're a Legion of Boom, but they deserve some kind of recognition here as one of the more premier defenses we've seen as of recent. Houston's defense is a very big problem, and it can single-handedly win them games, and it brought them into the playoffs, right?
They take them to the Super Bowl. They get taken to the Super Bowl. Their defense is like Denver Broncos, no-fly zone good enough, where they let the bracket fill out the right way, that they can go win a Super Bowl just on the defense.
Right. And when you have a quarterback like Stroud who will give you good playoff performances and can put up a good 20 points, that's pretty much all you need. Now, I don't think they'll go all the way, but it's just hard for me to believe that the Steelers, who already had this lucky, great Aaron Rodgers performance, but lucky missed field goal to send them to the playoffs, are going to have all this luck on their side going into the playoffs through this run.